Welcome to Driveway Garage. Today I'm working on a 2001 Lexus RX300 and I keep getting a check engine light and a code for a knock engine sensor. A knock engine? Well, knock sensor. Anyway, it's hard to get to. It takes a lot of work. But I've seen a couple hacks, and one of them involves splicing two wires into one wire. And the one wire would be the good knock sensor, and it fools the computer into thinking that both knock sensors are good. So I'm going to give it a try. Let me show you what I have going on here. So the wires I need to tap into are down in here, I guess, on the right side by the driver or passenger side. And in order to get there, you need to take the glove box off. So on the bottom right, there's a 10mm. And then on the bottom left, there's a 10mm. And I was trying to get these out with the glove box open. And I was like, man, I don't have much room to work. I got this one most of the way out, but the other one was fighting me. So I shut the glove box to see if I could get any more room. And you got easy access to both of them when you close the glove box. So once you get those out, let me pause this for a second. I like to use power tools whenever I can. I've got this little Hitachi cordless drill that works really good for stuff like this. Sure, a lot faster than a ratchet. So, crank that baby out of there. Now both of those are out. Now when you open the glove box, there's a Phillips screwdriver here, or Phillips screw here, and a Phillips screw on the left side. So I'm going to take those out. And then back in here, there's a latch that holds the glove box, and I guess there's a, on the other side of this on the right, there's a, you can't see it, but it's there, there's a plastic bracket, and it has a Phillips screw on it. So I think once I get this off, I can get to that screw. So let me get these Phillips screws out and see what we have. So I got the glove box lowered down. Once you get the screws out, there's 3 clips on the top that hold it in, so you just kind of tug on a little bit. And then I saw where there's this wiring harness here. You have to pop it out of here somehow, and they said something about a flat screwdriver, so I think that should be pretty easy. I think I'm going to pry right here. That should pop out of there. This is the cylinder I was talking about, but that's part of the glove box, so I don't even need to have, I don't have to worry about that. I think once I get this wiring harness off here, the whole glove box should come out of the way. So that's just held in by a clip over here. So if you put a flat screwdriver down in here, pry it just a little bit, it looks like there's 2 clips, one there, one there. And the glove box just pops out of the way. And, oh, there's a part on the bottom too, but it came out along with it. So now what I need to do is get into this wiring harness. So let me get the glove box out of the way. Well, that bottom part fits on there with a couple clips. So if you take that off, you can put the glove box in and then just snap that back into place. And it's got a couple prongs at the top that must slide into something back there. So what I'm going to do now is undo these wiring harnesses. And there's supposed to be a black wire and a clear wire. And the black wire is the one that goes to the bad knock sensor. There's 2 of them on the engine. So what I'm going to try to do is just splice those 2 wires together. I'll cut the black one off that goes back or comes in from the sensor. That's the bad sensor. The clear one is the good sensor, supposedly. And let me get this prepared. Now, from what I saw, to take this off, you just push on these little prongs here, and that'll take you can get the wiring harnesses out of there. That's what I need to do. There's 3 of them, and they're attached together here. And then I'll find the wire that I need to splice into. And what I'm going to use, a lot of guys solder it, but I'm going to put this on the one side on the good wire and the other side on the bad wire, and that'll tag it into the good wire, and hopefully it'll fool the computer into thinking we have two good O2 sensors, or NOx sensors. So let me get those wires out. Okay, so I just used a screwdriver and I pushed on this prong here in like this. You can use your fingers, but I was struggling, so I used a screwdriver. Push it in and pull on the wires. Now they're all taped together. I just unwrapped the electrician's tape. Now they're separated. And you can see those two wires right there. The white one, the clear one, is the good wire, and the black one is the bad wire. So I'm gonna probably have to go watch that video again and freshen my memory, but evidently, if I remember right, these wires are coming from the NOx sensors, and then from there they go into the computer here. So I need to cut these wires off and then splice these two at the bottom where I'll just cut the black one. Splice these two together, and it should tell the computer that I have a good signal. I know I need to cut the black one, and I'm pretty sure the wire coming from the firewall is the one from the NOx sensor. So since this one, black one, is bad, we'll just tag it in, these two together, and put it back together and see if we can get rid of that NOx sensor signal in the check engine light. I already cleared it, so hopefully when I start it and drive it around, it won't come back on. Now, one thing I noticed, most of the time it doesn't seem like it affects anything. But a couple nights ago, I drove it about 40 miles and it would not go into overdrive. And that was one of the big complaints. Just off your VSC, that light comes on and the check engine light comes on, and it won't let it go into overdrive. So I was driving about 4,000 RPMs. We went to a casino for a few hours, and when we came back out, the lights were still on, but it would go into overdrive, and I could drive 65 miles an hour, and I was at like 2,700 RPMs instead of 4,000. So I don't know what the difference was, and that's the first time I noticed that it affected the overdrive, because before that I could turn the overdrive on and off on the column and it worked, but the other night it did not want to. So that's why I decided I'm going to go ahead and fix it, because it does affect the drivability. So let's see what I can do here. So I've got the black wire cut. As you can see, it's loose. I slipped the other end of the black wire through the blue connector on the inside. The clear wire is coming through the outside. Now when I pinch this together, that metal slot there, I should crimp those together and make contact with both of them, and it should fix my problem. And then when you get that pushed down, you close this plastic lid there, and that snaps into place and keeps it from coming apart. So let's give it a try and see what happens. Well, there she is. She's installed. And that black wire, I might put a little tiny piece of tape on it, I guess, just to make sure it doesn't go back and touch this piece of metal inside of here and give us a false reading. So I'll put a little tiny piece of tape on there so it can't make contact. And then I'm going to plug them back in and take it for a drive before I close everything back up, see if we fix the problem. Okay, they're plugged back in. I'm not going to put tape around it because it can't go anywhere. I'm going to take it for a spin here. I'll get the glove box out of the seat, and then I'll show you guys when I start driving it, see how it works. Okay, well, here goes the moment of truth. She started, and no lights yet. There's a lot more knee room over there without a glove box. It has a CD changer in there too, but it doesn't work. All right, let's take it for a little spin here. and see if we fixed our problem. I think if this doesn't fix the problem, I'll have to solder those wires together, but I'm hoping that this makes good enough contact that it fools the computer into thinking that both the knock sensors are good. Normally, well, it's weird because I've driven it around and the light doesn't come on, and then the next day I start it and go drive someplace and it comes on. So it's a little temperamental. And probably 4 days ago, the check engine light and the VSC light came on, or VCS, whatever it is, and it was on all day, and then the next day I went out to start it and go someplace, it was off. So it reset itself, which is weird because normally once it comes on, it stays on until I clear it. Now I cleared it today with my handheld scanner. I bought another scanner that was about $800, and I figured, because I'm always buying and selling vehicles, if it keeps me from making a bad mistake, like a bad transmission or a bad motor, it's paid for itself. Unfortunately, like an idiot, I didn't use it when I bought this vehicle. The guy just told me that it needed a O2 sensor. Well, it actually needed 2 O2 sensors and a knock sensor. But I got them fixed. Well, I replaced the 2 O2 sensors, and now we have the knock sensor fixed. Whoa! I just almost ran over a hedgehog or a muskrat. That was close. Well, anyway, as you can see, no check engine lights, and that's a good thing. I'm not sure if it's running any better, but I guess the knock sensor monitors the vibration of the motor, and if it gets too out of whack, so much voltage or amperage or something. I'm no expert on it, but I know that when they go bad or the wiring goes bad, the computer thinks there's something wrong, and it won't let it go into overdrive, and it shuts off the traction control. So I think that's what the VSC is, variable stability control. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching. If you have a similar problem, that works. It's really easy to do. You don't have to strip wires back and solder anything. It just needs some kind of a signal to tell it that everything's good. So I'm almost back to my house and everything seems all right, kosher. The main reason I wanted to fix this is because I have somebody coming at 2 o'clock to buy it or look at it. And I sure didn't want it to have a check engine light and have the issues I was having, because that would probably end the sale, or else he'd want to come down more money, and I don't want to go down any more than I already have. Thanks for watching, guys. You guys have a great day, and if you want, like, share, and subscribe.